My name is Mike. I am on the same team with Kristen, one of our experts here. So we are always more than happy to support. I've been with Houzz for, I think it's going on my third year now, kind of always kind of in depth with the project management. So these tools are, I can definitely tell you, really great tools that have been in development for quite some time and are really things that have been asked for from our pros. So it's one of the great things about Houzz that I can really kind of promote out there is that we do thrive on your feedback. If something needs, could be changed a little bit, or you have any ideas, let us know because we can always get those in there. One of the things is in the support tab, there's even a place just to provide feedback, and that goes right to our product developers. So with that, let me jump in and share my screen. So what I'm going to actually start with is over here in our house, we were just talking about with Kristen all the different parts of your projects, but we do have a couple more down here. I know that we'd actually already gone over the time and expense, but the last two are going to be our 3D floor plan and our mood boards. And these are both visual tools that you're going to be able to use to share with your client. And the 3D floor plan is really great, and it's one of the few things that's really embedded into our app at this time. So since I can't really show you my screen very well, what I'm going to go ahead and do is play a quick video. And that video is going to, as you can see, it starts here with, this is her cell phone. So this is what, when you log into the Houzz Pro app, you're going to land on a page here. As you can see, she'll kind of go over this very quickly, but your active projects are here, and you can click just to view your projects. You can click just to see your leads. Up here, you're going to have this little menu, and that's where you can go in if you wanted to do different things. And you'll be able to kind of see that where she's going to jump to the 3D floor plan in here. You also have a message center. So if you have any messages that have come to you, that are going to be here, as well as any alerts that are set up for you. So with that, let me go ahead. She's going to take over and show you how to actually take the measurements and start a 3D floor plan. So let me go ahead and get that playing for you.
Hey guys, Sally here from the Visual Tools team. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the floor plan measurement tool in the Houzz Pro app. So there's two major entry points for this tool. Both of them are in the bottom, this plus sign at the bottom right over here. So if I tap this from the home screen, what it's going to give me an option to do is to create a new lead, a new project, or a new floor plan. When you create a new floor plan, if I were to tap that, that would automatically launch me into the floor plan measure tool. And the other main entry point would be if I went into the menu and I went into floor plans. So this would give me a list of all the floor plans that I've created before, whether it was created on mobile or on the web. So you can kind of see all of my previous videos over here. If I were to tap the plus sign now, it will automatically launch me into that measurement experience, and it does not give me the option to create leads or a project. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and tap that plus sign. And what I'll get is I'll get the message to scan the floor of my room by slowly tilting my device. So what this is doing is this is initializing AR. So it's giving the device basically a little bit of information so that the system can figure out where you are in the room. Most phones will require this. However, if you have an advanced phone with a LiDAR technology, so that would be an iPhone 12, that would have sort of laser technology in there that gives you a more precise measure, and you can actually skip the step altogether. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and initialize AR. And as you can see, right after I've initialized, a circle with a dot in the middle appears. So that basically is that's telling me that it's ready to go. That, as you can see, did not take very long, but part of the reason is because I'm in a space that's very well lit. It has a lot of high contrast, and I gave this very smooth, slow sort of motion. That helps initialize AR and helps with tracking. And especially in particular, if you're in a space that happens to be dark and it's empty and all the the floor is white and the or worse black and the walls are black, if there's just nothing for the camera to really pick up on and no points of interest, it's actually very hard to initialize or use AR in general. My general advice is if you can, make the room bright so we're not getting a grainy camera image. You want to give points of interest, so you don't actually want a blank, pristine room. A lot of the camera's like smart enough to figure out, like if you have just white painted walls, it can probably figure out from the shadows in the corners that there is areas of interest. But the general rule of thumb is the more stuff you have in there, especially stuff that's high contrast for the camera to pick up on, the easier it is and the better results you'll have for AR. And then the other thing is, generally speaking, you want to try to move in a more smooth kind of a pattern. So if I went ahead and started shaking my phone around, or I did some really sudden movements, and it's something that would kind of cause the frames of the camera to like move really, really fast. If I drop my phone, for example, that's going to confuse the system. So we want to try to be, especially during the scanning process, to sort of be smooth and kind of gradual with our motion. You don't have to be like a snail's pace or anything. You just don't want to have any really unnatural jerky movements. So let's go ahead and start the scan. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start, let's start in this corner right here. And I'm going to point to the corner, and I'm going to press this plus sign to basically drop a point. And I'm going to do that with the entire periphery of the space. I'm going to, find the corners over here. And I'm actually going to scan this whole space, including my shower. So I'm going to actually look into my shower, place one over there. I'm going to look into my bathtub. And obviously the room's corner isn't there, but this is the closest I can get. All right, so basically now I've enclosed that space. And you do have to enclose it in order to proceed, because we do want a closed space. If you have sort of door openings or whatever, in this step you can actually put doors, or even if you didn't want to, you didn't have a wall that's enclosing all the space, you can still just choose to close it and then maybe add a door opening to refer to that open space that you initially closed as part of this scan. So let me just show you what that looks like so far. So here's the room that I scanned. And it's got measurements and everything. If I were to press done, it would basically finish up the scan, and I won't be able to go back and do any more edits in AR. I don't want to do that right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop back, and I'm going to go ahead and, you can kind of see we just got out of alignment, because I'm trying to work with this with one hand while being tethered to my laptop. I went and I actually just moved my camera a little bit, and what happened there is it readjusted. So you can kind of see it was floating up top, and then it kind of came back down closer to where my initial scan was. And what's going on there is we basically went out of alignment because, like I said, I had a sudden movement where I, put the camera down. We popped out of the experience for a moment. And now that we're back, it realigns itself after I do a bit of a scan. So that's also a good tip. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and place a door. I'm actually going to put my laptop down to do this. All right, so let's add a door. So right now I've tapped the door button, and I can, pick an area around along this wall that I pointed to. And go ahead and tap the area in the middle that's shaded, and that places a door. And I can go ahead and adjust it as I need to. And then whenever I'm done, all I do is I tap off that door, and that's complete. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place the window over here. Very similar process. I'm just dragging the edges until it matches, and then I tap off, and now I'm done. So I've got doors and windows, so I'm going to press next. As you can see, we've got the door, we've got the window, and I think I'm ready to complete this. So I'm going to tap done. It's going to ask me for a title. I'm going to save it, and it says also available in 3D on web. That basically means I can now go to the web 3D floor plan tool and actually use what I just created as a base, and I can start, adding my toilet and my shower and all of these things into that room. So let's take a look at what we just created. So this is the view mode. I can't edit in the Houzz Pro app, at least not yet. There's a 2D mode that basically lets you look from the top down as a floor plan. There's a 3D mode, so I can move around here. So 2 fingers, if I drag down, I'm going to be able to rotate like this. And then with 2 fingers moving from side to side, there's other rotations. So that's that. And then with 1 finger, I can kind of pan the camera like that. So that's one of them. I can just show you. So here's something that I've made from the web. It's going to take a little bit of time to load, so I'm just not going to wait for it to fully load. That flicker is all things that are loading, but just to show you guys a little bit of what's possible. And here you go. You can see everything. And I'm pinch zooming to zoom in. So yeah, so that's basically 3D floor plan tool in a nutshell. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
All right, so that was our 3D floor plan on the phone app. Were there any questions on the phone app before I move forward?
I think the only question was just which app it was. So this is the Houzz Pro app. You can download in the Google Play Store, the Apple Store. Make sure it's the one with the blue logo, not the one with the green Houzz logo. That one's more for like the consumer side of things. So the blue Houzz Pro app, that's where you can get this tool and functionality.
Very true. And then just on if there's anybody that migrated from Ivy in this session, I don't think so. But if there are, you don't want to use the Ivy app anymore. You do want to transition to that Houzz Pro app to get the latest and greatest tools. With that being said, so now I'm back in my house, and I'm just going to go to 3D floor plans and kind of pick up where she had left off. And that's, remember, basically once she saved that room, she was able to, fast forward, and you saw with all the rooms with the products and everything inside. So that's kind of a big fast forward. Let's take show you, you don't have to use the 3D floor plan measurement tool. You can actually just start with a room. So if you just have the measurements, you're again working COVID and you don't have the luxury of being in that space, you can get the measurements and then start from scratch here, just a normal rectangular room. And then you can drag your walls out. Like she had, maybe a weird angle in your room, or better yet, like hers, maybe we want to enclose that shower. So there's her shower, and then go ahead and stop there. Now, one thing is you can see I didn't quite connect the wall. So there's our walls connected. And then I'm going to go ahead and turn that pencil off. But I could, again, come in here like her room and kind of give that, how it had that weird kind of space like that. And then all I need to do is highlight and just click delete on my keyboard, and that will delete a wall. So now I've kind of got more like the space she had. And then here are my doors. Just like she was able to add a door, you actually in here have more options where you can choose which kind of door it is. It's like she was saying, maybe it's not even a door, maybe it's just an opening. You can actually put in just a frame, and you can just click and drag it around, and wherever you want to put it, that's going to go ahead and put it there. And then you have your measurements over here on the side, where that way you can again make it bigger, larger, make it match what's actually there. Same with if we go ahead and do our windows. I'll just go ahead and close that. And then you can see there's also down here, there's going to be windows. So here's one that's kind of like the window that she had in her room. And you can see again, it's kind of cool because all I have to do is drag it near that wall and it takes on that wall's it just jumps right into place. And then here you can see with the windows, it actually asks you to put in how high it is. So you don't have to worry about that. You can put it in if you're working with a basement apartment where the windows are in an odd place, you can put those wherever they need to be. Now, where she kind of left off was that's all that she could really do on the app was put those in there. And then just like we can go to our dollhouse and see what that looks like now. But now we can actually go in there and add products. So again, we were working on a bathroom. So maybe we're going to go ahead and add in an oval shaped bathtub. Not quite the one she had. So we'll put it in that space because maybe that's what she's going to move to. And we can put that in. Again, we can click over here and I just need to, for some reason, it's not connecting that wall the way I need it to. So let me go ahead and do that. Let's see if it connects now. There we go. So now this is enclosed. So I can actually, when I go to my dollhouse, I can click on that shower. And what I'll be able to do is select the flooring. And so when I come in here and select flooring, that's where I'm going to maybe give that shower a mosaic tile. And then I'm going to give the rest of the bathroom a wood floor. Maybe something a little bit darker. So you can actually do your flooring as well. You can also at this point click on your walls, and your walls you're going to be able to pick a color. We partnered with Benjamin Moore, and you can see you can kind of slide and toggle to it. Well, let's go ahead and give that an orange one or a purple one. You can see I can actually come over here to this wall and that'll save for me, so I don't have to go and hunt it down again. I can use it on all the different walls. So all I'm doing is clicking on the wall and then highlighting the color. If maybe the bathroom near the tub is going to have a different color, we can go ahead and just switch it on over. So, and then I can always come back to my floor plan as well. And because the last thing that's going to be in here is all of your products are in here. So I could definitely load it in with the sink and the toilets and things like that to really match. And when I do that, I just come over here, kind of rotate it to where it's in the right place. And what's really kind of a cool thing is if I go to my dollhouse now, you're seeing where it's, that's just kind of a random, I don't want to say a stick figure because it's a little bit more, weighted. But if you wanted to actually add a true looking product, we've actually loaded in all of our products that are available on Houzz, and you can add those in as well. So if I come in here and do bathroom and search by that, maybe I'll get some more products that I can put in there and show you how they'll have a little bit more weight. So if I do, bathroom vanities, give that a second just to load in. But you can see, if I wanted to, just use something that was standard, I could, but maybe in here, I'll actually go ahead and use this one. And then I'll come and put it in place. I just need to rotate it so it's on the right wall. And then drag it back. Now when I go to that dollhouse, when I come over here, you can see it's actually looks like the vanity that the client's chosen, or something along those lines, or maybe even what they've already have in the room. So that definitely comes into play, to get something a little bit more lifelike and more virtual. And with Houzz, there's so many products available to you. So that's why, really kind of come in here. Again, it doesn't have to be the exact one. It could just be, if they're going for a farmhouse bathroom, then choose a farmhouse style, really whatever works for you. The great thing about this is, again, when you're ready to collaborate with your client, all you have to do is come over here and you're going to be able to either duplicate it if you wanted to make more copies of it, but you can also just come right here to share, and that's going to give you a link. And that way you could, embed it into a message, do whatever you need to do to get that link over to the client. And that's what's really cool is they're not just getting something stagnant. They're not just getting like, this is what, a normal person might get, a nice 2D printout, but they can actually come in here, rotate it, zoom in, kind of look at it from all the different angles. They even have the walkthrough where that's where you can actually kind of drop your mouse and say, I want to look at it from that wall or from that position, and then see what that room would look like. So you can really, and then well, maybe, I want to see what it's like if I was actually using the commode, then this is the view that I would have. So you can really play around with that and give kind of a great idea of what the space is going to look like when finished. And the other things to tell you before I kind of want to move on is that source, if you are going to use it, one of our other sections down here, we don't go into too much detail, but that's where our source section is. And if you wanted to buy products through Houzz, all those products are going to be searchable through our category with our trade pricing here, so that you can real quickly go in and just find those items that you want to purchase and kind of keep your orders all in one place. But that's our 3D tool. Any questions on that so far?
We did get a few questions. So just so you guys know, right now, the 3D floor planner, it doesn't have like API callouts to other software for the time being, but we do hear that a lot. So we're looking into ways that could potentially be possible. And then we do also get common questions on like, what if I have my own products that I want to have in here? You'd have to have an image that could be 3D rendered. So specifically, under products, you have like those white placeholders that you can kind of manipulate the sizes and stuff. And then on source, those are the Houzz products that are kind of like that blue vanity, the actual image. So those are the products that you can specifically choose from. And we're adding more and more. So some of you had some great ideas for like garage doors and other cool things. So we're adding more and more all the time. So we love to hear your ideas. So more to come.
And then I do see one that there was a question about like adding a medicine cabinet above. We do have, and I don't know why it's not showing up right now, but one of the things that we do have in the kitchen products is cabinets, and you can have like above oven cabinets or above the sink, so you can actually choose what kind of cabinet it is. And it's a really kind of a cool feature because you can actually go in there and choose, is it window doors or is it, a 6-panel door, what, so we do actually have a lot of stuff that you can really add to make that super detailed. Again, those would be in the kitchen products normally. I am not sure why. I'm just getting the appliances right now, but there's normally cabinetry in there as well. And makes it, again, super easy, very, very much a nice layout. One thing I say is, I had a designer that thought that, or a pro that thought that they were going to be able to, get like the measurements and find out exactly how many pieces of wood they would require and things like that. It's not going to give you, a true, the most architecturally sound, it's going to really kind of pick up whatever you're putting in, but you can definitely on the fly, like if you're trying to get the client to understand, we just can't get a line for a dual vanity here, but we can here. You can show them real quickly just by clicking and dropping and moving things around what the space is actually going to look at. So to me, that's where it really becomes, a great tool that you can, put together a room in a couple of seconds or minutes and then collaborate with your client. So that's our 3D. The next tool I want to show you is our mood board, and that you can actually use in conjunction with the 3D floor plan. So what the mood board is normally it's like a collage. A lot of designers will use these, kind of to call out like, the products and things that they're going to add, or, kind of what they envision that space to look like. But you can, use it however you want. And one of the things you can do is drop your room in there. It's like, here's another, kind of room I was doing. You could drop your 3D floor plan in there as a 2D and then kind of do your call outs. So a lot of your clients aren't necessarily a pro at looking at your blueprint and know exactly what's going on. And this you can, as you can see, I've added things here to kind of make it more user friendly. Show them that's the tub that's going to go in there. Maybe I'd have another picture of a vanity I'd want to put in. And again, I could just come right on over here to my source and go and find that sink that I want to put in there. And so this is going to be probably, let's just go to bathroom vanities and sinks. And so if I was going to have, this was the sink that was going to be in that room, I might come in here and just add it. You can see as soon as I add it, I can resize it. I can actually, like in here, it's taking over. So if I want to put it behind it, I could put it behind it. There's a lot of things you can do. You could actually even crop it and you could flip it so it's this way. And then I'm going to use these little pencil tools up here. And our main one that I'm going to use is probably this little pencil, and that's where I could come and, again, point and say that that's vanity is going there. The way that, let me start a little bit more from scratch here and show you how I got to that. Go back into my mood boards, add a mood board. You can assign it to a project that you're working on, or it can just be freestanding, just something that you want to work on by yourself. And up here is going to be where you can actually take any image. So an image you found, maybe your client provided you some images of the space, or maybe they sent you, their inspiration kitchen or something like that. You can always add anything you have on file. You can just click it and drag it in, or, just really kind of grab anything that you have downloaded. So let's see if I go ahead and I'll populate this library in here. Go ahead and update that. And that drops right into the mood board. Over here is this little weird little, it's supposed to be, I think, a room with a door going into it. That's going to access your floor plans. So any floor plan that you have saved would be in here. So we can go ahead and add one like this. And that's how you're going to get it in there. This is a kind of my pro tip too. If you did want to print this out for some reason, you could just come in here and just, make this fill up the space. And that's one of the great things about the mood board is you can come right over and over here and print. And not only can you actually print it, make a hard copy of it, you could actually do a PDF copy of it as well. So if you didn't want that interaction, that, the link that was showing them both the dollhouse and the 2D, you could come in here and just get the 2D. Let me go ahead and make that smaller. The next one you're going to have is our paint colors. And so that's where you could add a swatch. We were kind of going with like a purple color. So I go ahead and add the swatch. It's going to have that Benjamin Moore branding on it, but you can always take away the info. You just show the color itself. And then over here is going to be where you can add any text. So you come in here and say, new library. Add that text in there. Just click and drag, make it whatever size you want. And then you can just come to this box, change the coloring. I can also even change the font too if I want to make it a little bit different. And then their next tool is that one I just used where, I could click on it and draw, let them know that that wall is going to be there, or I can actually just put in an arrow itself. If you wanted to do an arrow. And then the last one is the measurement tool. Let me find a product or something that I can add in here. I'm just going to go to my source. And if I was going to be adding this table, but maybe there's, I want them to know exactly what size it is, that's where you can use this ruler, come along the top of it here and put in, that that's 3 feet 6 inches wide, something like that. And then that would be available for them. And again, you can change the coloring on that. It doesn't have to be neon green. And you can even click on the back and change your background color as well. So really a great tool. If you do go to your library, what's going to be in your library is going to be your logo. So that way, if you have your logo loaded into the system, you can actually go ahead and click on that and then brand this with your logo so that they know that, this was something that you sent over to them. And then again, just come on that and put that in the front and it'll be over it. So again, the source is going to be those products again from the Houzz catalog that you're more than welcome to use and add along. I see a lot of, in all honesty, the people that I think have really embraced this are a lot of landscapers because they can go in there and get, images of different bushes and different plants and species and everything like that and just kind of, almost like an interior designer put together what that new landscape is going to look like. Just to show you what you can do once you've got it all set the way you like it is, again, you do have that print option, so you can actually print it out or turn it into a PDF that you want to share. You can actually come in here to save it as, and if you do save as, that again is going to have you name it. So I'll just do new library. And again, asking if you want it to be in a project or not. I'm just going to go with none. And if I confirm, that's actually going to save to my Houzz profile. So it will go into an idea book for anybody who's browsing your Houzz profile to see. And come back up here, and that's where you can also share it too. So if you want to use Houzz, as a social media site or as a, somebody trying to find it. If you have somebody that you wanted to share, this library that you came up with or this image that you came up with, just come right on in here. I'm now in my library book, and that's where, or my lookbook, and I can come in here and just hit share, and then put in my client or my lead's email address, give it a subject, give it a little message, and share that with one of the people that, where I want to call their attention to that, something that I just added to my profile. If I head back on over here, again, that's where we have our share and our save as. The other one is load, and that's where if you're somebody who uses maybe the same kind of template, for lack of a better word, on a couple different projects, I could come over here to load, and that's where I could just choose from one of my other mood boards and load it into it. So maybe I'm working on a specific project, but I want to get that mood board from another project that I worked on. I could definitely do that as well and send them, again, if you have like that standard farmhouse kitchen, here's what it's going to look like. These are the items that we're going to use. You could definitely throw that together and just use that over and over again for all your clients that want the farmhouse style versus the modern style, or however you kind of want to use it. And that really is the other thing. Obviously the other one is save. And if you are getting products from the Houzz, you can actually come right on over here and request a quote, put that together, and that would come right on over, and send that to our trade team to see what that quote would look like if they did want to do that. Questions on the mood board?
I actually don't see any coming in, but that was wonderful. Thank you so much, Mike.
Okay. So that, again, was our two visual elements. I'm just going to jump back into Houzz Pro and jump into the last thing that I kind of want to show you, and that's, again, focusing on that collaboration with clients. And I know we mentioned it earlier. There was a question while Kristen was talking about your budgets and things like that. And that's if I jump into a specific project. So let me just go to my DC flat project. And you're going to have some different things along here. And one of them is going to be your timeline. So I'm not sure if we've covered too much on this, but your timeline is something that's totally, ready for you to use. You can come in here and use stages. This stage is going to be 7 or 8 days, and I don't want it to be that color. I want it to be purple. And you can come in here and really edit it however you want. Put in that phase. We're going to call this one, maybe our demo phase. And working days, it's going to take 5. Location is going to be site, something like that. And I could put that in there. And my second phase is going to be starting next week, and that might be my build phase. Again, I'm going to really simplify it here. Put that in, and then save that phase. And then I didn't put even how many working days that would be, but I could definitely, go and load up your timeline, and that could just be for yourself. You might want to just keep it, private to you and your collaborators. But you can come right over here and make that shared, and then that's going to be shared for your client on what we call the dashboard, which I'm going to go to in a little bit more. And the other thing you can do here is, this is our NAT view. If you want to change it into a calendar view, which is a little bit more understandable, you can definitely do that as well. And I could come in here to my build phase. Let me fix that out. Change that to, maybe that's going to be 10 working days, not 90. 10. And again, that would be site. And we could do that. You can see where it's then going to kind of build them on top. Let me change that to 5. It looks a little bit more, makes sense. We've got our demo, and then our build phase is starting. That last stage, that could, maybe it's a consultation. Or how about, let's do that would have happened first, review of design. And I could put that, a couple of days into and it's just 1 day. So I'll go ahead and save that. And now you have your kind of calendar view. Here's my demo phase, my build phase, and then we've got our review. And you can always come in here and just add an item as well. call client, anything like that, and just build out your timeline. And so that timeline, really kind of cool. What's really great is this is just a timeline for DC flat. But if I actually wanted to go, and I just kind of jumped back to my project level, so I'm jumping out of DC flat, just going back to all projects. Just takes a second for it. If I go to my timeline here under all projects, that's where they're going to be combined. And that way I would see that I'm in the demo phase on DC flat right now, but maybe on one of my other projects, I've kind of got more things going on. So you can see here's the only one I really have right now is DC flat, but all my other projects are still listed here. I went into this new home for Tony Stark, then that's going to jump me into that specific project. And that's where maybe, again, I'm going to go in and add a stage. So I'll just come in here, let the screen catch up with me. And then that would, again, show on the all projects, I'd be able to see both of them there. But more importantly, on the timeline, like I said, it's shareable with the client. So if I go back into my DC flat, since that's the one I have the dates on, and maybe I have some documents that I've sent over to them that I've, or payments that are waiting to be made, things like that. What you're going to be able to see is the share client dashboard. If we click on that, so maybe I want to send them over an email with my client dashboard. So say, hey, here's, the timeline that I created, and here's, these estimates and invoices that are due. Over here's where you've got your ability to send it, and you can, of course, put in a message. And then over here is where you're going to see all those different things. So open task, if I had any task for my clients or anything like that, that would be in here. Again, any new messages would be in here. Again, so you're sharing really everything along the lines with the client. Here again is that timeline. And then over here, you can see I actually have financials where if I had an open invoice or an estimate that had been shared, that would be in here for them to see as well. Again, you saw that my attachments were on the list as well. So if anything that any of those files that we've shared back and forth would be here as well. Let me go in and we'll make a financial real quickly on here so you can see it. But this is where, again, branded very nicely with my, my logo and everything like this. And I would just send that on over to the client, and they would be able to just kind of search through here and see, where I'm at exactly in the project. Jump to that timeline and see, okay, on the 26th where, we're in the build phase, all those types of things are really important to collaborating with your client. Again, not every client wants to be hands-on. Some of them are paying you because they want to step away from it. You don't have to share it with them, but you do have that ability to share it with them at any time. Let me just come in here and create an invoice so that we can see and create a new one. And I'm just going to add an item real quickly. Put in a price. Just something so I can save and preview and share. And then now if I go back, now that I have that document, that's because I feel remiss because I didn't have any financials in the timeline when I shared it. So now if I go back to my project, it's actually still going to be blank because I haven't shared that with my client. I would actually have to hit submit and share it in order for it to be viewed in the dashboard. It's only going to it's not going to show anything that you're working on. It's only going to show things that have actually been sent. So since I didn't send that, it's still not there. If I go into that invoice that's in draft mode and preview and share, subject is invoice, message. And now once that invoice is saved, now if I go back to my project and go into the dashboard, it should be there. And there you can see the one invoice, and they would be able to click on that invoice and see at this point it's past due because it was due on December 4th. And they could also just come over right here and pay me. So again, that really becomes really useful because then you're not sending them multiple messages or having to, direct them to different places. You can just send them that dashboard, let them know, hey, I'm still waiting on payment for these. We're in the middle of the demo phase, whatever you need to communicate with them, and show them everything all at once is in that, what we call the client dashboard. Any questions on the client dashboard?
I don't think so, but that was really great. What a wonderful way for you guys to keep your clients organized, keep it all in one place. I know that I would be super impressed. I've gone through some home remodeling projects and I wish I had something like that can help give me insight into what's happening. So really wonderful way to make you stand out, not only earn that business, but hopefully get referrals from that client because they just enjoyed that experience with you so much. So very helpful.
And then that's one of the things is your daily logs. Those can be included with it as well. That's one thing I forgot to mention. Your daily logs, if you're going in there and putting in everything, again, they could be private to just you, but you can go ahead and add to share them. And then that way, you don't have to call the client every day. Just tell them to check their client dashboard and go to daily logs, and they'll see whatever you typed in there. Demo phase went well. We're day ahead of schedule, whatever it is that you're adding to it.